G'day everyone. Um, for those that watched the one this morning, literally only 2 hours ago, we were talking about this. This level here is a pretty key level, um, and and we broke back below this trend line with volume, really aggressive um, breakdown as well. So obviously there was a stop loss in there, which was great. That trade didn't make any money in the end, but didn't lose much either. So yeah, really strong rejection. Not sure if there's any news around that. Seems a bit strange, but sorry, I'm just checking the news feed to see if there's anything major. Yeah, have a quick look at the rest of uh, crypto now. Good bounce off the third standard deviation here. I would potentially expect a retest of the 50 EMA up around that 105, 104 level. But sorry, 1049. But someone's dumping hard. And I guess the consideration here, one, that's probably going to be the top in Solana for a while. Don't worry about this, hasn't been tweaked for Solana. XRP, yeah, I mean, it's already in a downward trend. So I would expect that to continue. The only thing would be is if this is a dump in Bitcoin and a shift into alts, and I'm not seeing that at the moment, really. This is across the board, this dump. So actually, if you're paying attention to some of these, they really started to drop quite a bit before Bitcoin did. So I guess what it looks like, we may actually get a gap down on CME, and a gap down on CME is probably going to lead to a bounce at some stage. Now, it's whether, like, looking at the aggressiveness of this sell off, I would expect the 100K mark to 100,000, 500, that sort of area to be hit. The issue is it going to go further? And next major stop on CME would actually be at around 97K. If we're heading down that hard, don't think it's really going to stop. I would think this would be a local top, and we'd probably be coming back down, potentially even into this channel. But yeah, that's really strong reaction. We need a really aggressive bounce off this, I would say, to actually push into the levels that we were talking about this morning. Interestingly, it did take most of that liquidity as well. So a lot of the liquidity is gone. It's gone and swiped a lot of this. It could just be the market literally just going liquidity hunting in the lead up to the inauguration, clearing out both longs and shorts. This is the bit that concerns me. Like, shorter time frames, there is more liquidity to the downside now. If we go and look at 2-week again, we've cleaned up quite a bit of what was above here. Yeah, I don't know. It's looking sus. It's looking like it just a long squeeze at the moment, just to try and get out some of the 100x leverage before it actually moves higher. Could be completely wrong on that, because the tricky bit, one, cumulative volume delta actually started to drop quite a bit at the highs there. And we are making a lower low now. So CBD's kind of been dropping since that peak there. That would suggest to me that for the time being, downside is more likely. Could be choppy though, like could be very choppy. Just good to see some action on the charts. So for the time being, it's left this bit here, and on the 7-day, it is heavy to the downside. Even on the 30-day, it's very heavy to the downside. So 97 would bring us back into this sort of area here. I suspect we may have a bounce around the 100K. That would soak up a lot of it. But at this stage, we've got to look at that as potentially another rejection of this level here. Still got 2 hours left. It'll be very interesting to see where this daily closes. If it, let's see. I actually think we might get a bounce as just a liquidity hunt. I mean, obviously it's bouncing at the moment, but it could potentially just reconfirm this as a decent trend line, which has been hit multiple times on the way up. So it started back at the low here, 90,000. Trying to see if it actually goes back further. Probably not. So hit it there, basically close there, rejected there, broke through. That would suggest that this is a proper break. So I'd expect probably another sell-off around 105 if we get there. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at the moment. We have reclaimed the 200 EMA, which is the 50 EMA on the 1 hour, but that doesn't mean a lot to me at the moment. The only thing would be is if we get follow through to the upside here, then I'd be a bit more bullish. I think what it just means is this trend line here is a pretty critical one to have on your charts. If we break through that, then I think, yeah, we go further up. But I think any sort of closure today below yesterday's wick, which was 102,244, is probably going to lead to more downside. There is going to be a lot of support around this area. So anywhere in that zone, I would be looking for a bounce, which funnily enough is around the 97K mark. But very aggressive sell-off from the top. Which doesn't bode well for stocks this week either, to be honest. But as I said, it's not really confirmed yet. It just doesn't look great. Just wanted to point out those key levels. 105K is actually going to be a key level to recover, in my opinion. Yeah, it doesn't look like at the moment I would actually expect continuation reasonably soon. It's effectively tested the 50 EMA there. It's going to be a key point coming back up. Like that'll attract price once we do get a bounce at 105 area. And in which case I would actually expect the next time we try this area, it will get through it, but it doesn't have to do that anytime soon. For the time being, maybe a little bit of chop in this area here, and then I think further down is it's looking likely at this stage. We just want this to, like, if you're bullish on this, you really want this to consolidate down around that 102 without following through below this wick here at 102, 650-ish. Good news is that will be a gap down on CME if we do close down here somewhere, and gaps down will tend to get recovered a little bit quicker than the gaps up. All right, just wanted to cover off on that, given that it was such an aggressive move. I'll talk to you.